Anyway, looks like the video jammed or turned off. But let's continue. An English woman, an English black woman. Let me correct myself. Talking about narcissism and narcissists. I have a feeling she is about to start projecting and contradicting herself. Let's see what she has to say.
And one day, when I was coming home from church, I felt like God was telling me, search the definition of a narcissist. And when I searched this,
God told you to search the definition of a narcissist. Are you serious? This is a 28-year-old saying that God told her to search the definition of a narcissist. All right, let's see what she has to say.
I was like, whoa, this explains everything. Like all the characteristics, all the things that he did that I hated so much was explained in this one video. And I was like, boy, this is so deep. And so I have been
Let me tell you something. If you need a video to explain to you about things like that of a person that you're going out with, you're with, it could be a boyfriend, a girlfriend. If that is the case where you literally need a video, you have to go, God has to tell you to go and search for the definition. You come across a video and that shows you that. That means there's a lot that you're doing that is wrong. There's a lot you're doing that is quite wrong because as a grown up, I mean, at 28, she's a grown woman. I expect a bit more than that. I expect her to use her head, her brain, okay, to see some things without having to need a video or some definitions. I mean, at 28, you should be able to figure certain things out if you are a grown woman, which I suspect she is. And she probably will tell you that she's a grown woman. So, okay, let's see what else she has to say.
researching and understanding what it means to be a narcissist. And I really want to help you guys because some of you may be dating a narcissist and you don't even know it. And I kind of want to bring understanding to what you may be going through or what you may have been through. Your friends could be narcissists, your parents could be narcissists. I know now, looking back and having done the research, that my father was a narcissist. All the traits of a narcissist, my father had it. And it's no surprise that I am attracted to narcissists because of, obviously, you attract people that are like your father.
Well, that says a lot. I mean, at least she admits that her father was a narcissist. Now, if I believe that is obviously up for debate because a girl like this one, a woman like this one, talking about, her parents or whatever being narcissists, that could hold value, but at the same time, you have to be very careful with these kind of people because one thing they do is they lack self awareness. So sometimes they can project a lot. They can project their own behaviors on other people and not even realize it. And of course, that doesn't mean that she's projecting at the moment. But it's just interesting that she mentions that her father was a narcissist. Let's see if she goes deep into that so that we can see what exactly she's talking about when she says that. Maybe that will give us a bit more information to dissect and see if she really means what she says or if she's just hallucinating like a lot of these women are.
Somehow, spiritually, that's just what happens. So narcissistic personality disorder is actually a real disorder. And I'm reading from Wikipedia at the moment, and it says, narcissistic personality disorder is a personality disorder in which there is a long-term pattern of abnormal behavior characterized by exaggerated feelings of self-importance, an excessive need for admiration, and a lack of understanding of others' feelings.
Why do I feel like she just described herself right now? It's like, guys, come on. When you go out and you look around, especially for us living in the so-called Western world, like when you look around, you look at the girls you've been with and just the women in general. Isn't that the basic, the average description of the average woman out here? Exactly what you said. Shouldn't the average woman be a narcissist? I mean, look at the girl. Look at how she's presenting herself. Isn't this a isn't this a person who basically is all into herself? But hey, what do I know? Let's continue.
Last part. And I just want to let you guys know some of the telltale signs that you may have dated a narcissist, because one of their exit strategies is to basically jump in a relationship with someone else. So your ex may actually have been a narcissist. Don't worry, I got you. Now, one of the first signs of a narcissist is that initially, when you meet them, they are the sweetest person you have ever met in your life. They are the
There is some truth to what she says here, but I have to say this from a guy's perspective. To be honest with you, this is something that girls do and women just in general. I mean, it's like they have an outer shell that they present to anyone they meet. You know, it takes time before you actually get to know the real person, but it's almost like they have an ambassador who they carry with them. And when you meet them, boy, are they nice to you sometimes, for the most part, you know, and they do and say things that they normally wouldn't say. And as a guy, you take your time, and with time you start to peel off, that layer, and that's when you get to see the real person. So here, I mean, it depends who is looking at the situation, a guy or a girl. But from a guy's perspective, brothers, listen. I've seen this many, many times. It's the same. I don't care if she goes to church or goes to the local nightclub every single Friday, attends the local high school, or goes to the university over there. I mean, come on, it's all over the place. That's how they are. But hey, let's see.
most charming, they're confident, they're boisterous, borderline arrogant. But the thing is, they will treat you so well. They'll take you to nice restaurants, buy you lavish gifts, basically spoil you. And the term in psychology is called love bombing, where they just love bomb you. Whoa, you just be like,
oh my God, guys, I just met the man of my dreams.
So you want to tell me they just met a person who basically just goes full blown lovey dovey on you, and there you are being smutted, and all of a sudden, oh my God, I think I found the one. I mean, I don't blame them. I blame you for not having the brain to analyze and compartmentalize certain things that should happen, or you should see in real time, when they're happening. That's why I said, yeah, this is why I said that for her to be 28, this girl I'm talking about, the one who's in the video, and for her to be somehow saying that she had to hear it from God and go and she was told by God to go and search the definition for a narcissist, and she came across a video and blah blah blah. I mean, like, that's just too much for me for a 28-year-old. At 28, your brain, your overall, you as a person, you should be further in life psychologically, you know, to be able to put things together before things get too far. If you're 28 and that is how you react to somebody you just met, I mean, are you really 28, or are you 28 by age and, well, physical adventures, but really still 15, 16 mentally? I mean, come on.
but be warned, they may give you so much attention, call you every hour of every day.
It sounds to me like she's describing girls and women just in general. Attention, attention, attention. It's a drug to them. Attention, attention, attention. And, the average guy knows this. And that's why, obviously, when they want something from the girl, they'll just give them attention. That's what they love. I mean, that's what they'll die for. Attention. So, I mean, unless he wants to take you out on the same day and take you back home and just do bad things to you, I don't see what's the problem with that. It's just, at 28, I just expect you as a woman to be able to, to just understand the situation a bit better. I mean, you're an adult, at least you claim to be. You should be able to say, you know what? Yeah, let's this is too much for today. Let's be slow. But you can't take everything somebody gives you, and you probably ask for more, and then when they do that, if you some time down the line, all of a sudden because they did something wrong, they're a narcissist, and this is what led to that. I mean, I guess a lot of narcissists, they do this, but you're too old to fall for these, little tricks. At 28, this girl is too old to be falling for this. Let's continue.
I just want to hear your voice. I love you so much. They fall in love very quickly. They make plans very quickly. They sell you dreams very quickly. Everything is so quick that it's almost overwhelming. But some of us, because we haven't felt that love before, we're just like,
oh my God, guys, this is the one. I feel like I found Bae.
Be careful.
Bros, I said she's going to be projecting a lot. She's going to be projecting a lot. What are the chances that what you just said right now, that this so-called narcissist does, is exactly what she does? It's just that for whatever reason, she just doesn't see it. Basically, she lacks self-awareness. Because to me, it just sounds like she's describing a woman and how they go about their business when it comes to how they deal with men. I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. And after all this quickly and all these things, all of a sudden you found Bae. Are you serious? These girls, man, they're ridiculous. They're crazy. Just always fast. They're always on fast forward, man. It's ridiculous.
Almost so like fairy tale like. They'll say things like, we are soulmates, or you just understand me like no other. And they'll basically mold and fit to what they perceive you want. So it's not necessarily who they are, but they'll mold and they'll fit to who they think you want. Their goal is to get you. Their goal is to win you over. And I know a lot of you are probably sitting there thinking, yeah, so what's wrong with that? That's cute. No, that's only cute because you've been sold this fairy tale, fantasy, Disney, Wahala, trash of a guy needs to do this and this and this and this and
Wahala trash. So she has a British accent. She says Wahala. So I'm sure that she's Nigerian. Maybe was raised in England. But the way I know these girls, Nigerian girls, and just these so-called African girls, melanated, dark-skinned girls in Europe, that's what they do, man. I mean, like, literally, they're all over the place. So again, at 28 years of age, I expect her to just have a bit more control over the situation than she obviously is giving. She's saying that she would have and all that. And I'm sorry, but 28, it's very difficult for me to believe that a person at 28 would just fall for all these tricks. I mean, you should have seen a bit more, at 28 for you to just fall for it. I feel like, to me, it just comes across as her just projecting. So let's continue and see.
this and this and this and this. And I'm going to link a video below. And his name's Dozy. And he basically talks about why we chase after bad guys. And ultimately, it's because they give us everything that we want, but not necessarily.
Yes, they do, because that is what you want. A woman normally, I don't care what they say. If you tell them what they need to hear, there's a very good chance that they're going to hate you. I mean, you have to literally say what they need to hear and mix it with, a certain amount of basically truth, hardcore truth, and male energy for them to, take it. It's going to break them regardless, but at least they're going to take it and think about it. But normally, women, they want to hear what they want to hear. And it's funny to me because they'll normally say that if you tell them what they want to hear, you basically trying to manipulate them. And yet, when you tell them what they don't want to hear, they just, for the most part, just have mental breakdowns. So it's like, what the hell do you want? Come on, bro.
Everything that we need. Yes, the gifts are amazing. Yes, the fancy restaurants are amazing. But what else? Do they correct you? Do they give you what's needful? Okay, Louis Vuitton bag.
Yes, and I'm sure if they correct you, you are going to somehow get offended. We know these modern women and how they are. It's like you can't even correct them. Excuse me. The moment you do that, all of a sudden they feel like they're being attacked. So, A lot of contradictions there.
That's a great once in a while. But if they're always throwing everything at you in the beginning, be very careful. And like I said, the term is called love bombing. And another trait of a narcissist is that it's literally all about them. You are all about them. It's like the guy.
So the second point is self-focused, being about basically them. Them being about themselves. Basically, it's all about them. Me, myself, and I. I'm sorry to say this, but this is a trait that, yes, a lot of people have, men and women, of all ages and all that. But for the most part, let's be honest, okay? And I've heard this from many people. And growing up, being in my 20s, I can say this, that women are very selfish. They are extremely selfish, and they think about nobody else but themselves. So if this is something that she says that a narcissist, I mean, from her perspective, which would be a guy that she's obviously seeing, is like that, then I'm sure that her energy, that me, myself, and I energy, is what basically, in a way, attracted that to her. So that is probably emanating, like it's emitting off of her. So I don't know what this guy's talking about, because I feel like she's just describing herself in a roundabout way without even knowing. Let's continue.
That take trophy wives. It's not even really about you. You're just like a piece of the puzzle, but it's all for them to look good. And I remember a guy that I was dating who I believe was narcissist or had narcissistic traits. So some people have narcissistic, okay, because I can't speak, yeah, I'm just going to use the short term narc. So some people.
No, it's not you can't speak, it's that you're lying. You're trying concoct bull jive as you go on, and I'm on you like a rush. Let's see what more nonsense you spill out, because this girl, I can just look at her. Like I said, I'm African as well. I can look at her, and I know this type of girls. If you come across them, brother, run. Do your thing and just move on. Run.
People have narc tendencies, but some people are literally just narcs. So yeah, this guy that I was seeing, literally, I didn't realize in the beginning, but every conversation revolved around him. It was all about his story, his dreams, his future, his plans, his history. Looking back now, it's so crazy, but I can't remember one moment that he ever asked me about my dreams or what I'm doing. You know, it was all literally about him. And so there's always 3 stages to narc behavior. So love bomb you, devalue you, and then discard of you. From love, showering with you with love. And so once he knows he's got you, then it turns to devaluing you and wanting to change you.
Let me tell you something. If you really value yourself, if you love and value yourself, nobody, I don't care who they are or what they say or do, is going to devalue you. Because if you have it within, if you have it inside of you, whatever comes from the outside is going to be, it's going to be thought of by whatever you have inside. So if you have that value, that self-value inside of you, you won't really feel devalued. But with her, I suspect that she's had some, negative experiences with guys from her past. I mean, she mentioned her father, so I'm sure there's something there. And, she's a girl who, let's just say that maybe in the self-esteem department is not doing well. Like I said. And what I'm about to say is obviously sometimes can come across as harsh, but I'm looking at a Nigerian girl, I can see she's Nigerian. I can tell too from the accent and all that. Wearing a damn wig. I mean, she has 20 layers of makeup. Her fingers look like some, stuff out of a movie and all that. I guess she was raised in England, which is never a good thing, to raise these black girls in England. I mean, they're just far away from home, and they're raised in. You see, the thing is, they're raised in a society that is not built for them or by them. So therefore, it doesn't really benefit them that much, and they feel like they want to belong to the society, to that system, but that system just in a roundabout way says, you know what, no, you can't really be in the system because it's not for you. And because of that, they are raised and they just grow up with these issues, self-esteem issues. They just have a bad image of themselves. So that value is never really built inside of them. And that becomes a problem when they get to the age where they start to deal with other people, like, the opposite sex, like guys and all that. So in this case, I suspected that that is what's going on here. But just to go back to that point of devalue, to be honest with you, when you have that inside of you, nobody should say or do something that should bring you down to the point where you just feel devalued. If you feel like that, it's probably because you never really have or had value inside of you, and whatever value you had was not solid enough. Because if it's solid enough, if you got it from your parents, your childhood and all that, it should be there. You should be fine.
Making snide comments, just being rude and obnoxious. He'll put you down to make himself feel better. And a lot of these guys usually go for really strong women, and it's like a challenge for them to try and break you down. Narcissists are literally sick.
Well, I mean, I don't know what she means when she says they go for strong women. Strong women are supposed to have all those things down to the T. They're supposed to have a very firm foundation, meaning, they just don't feel devalued because somebody is somehow trying to say things or do things to devalue them. That's what would make them strong, I would believe. So if you say they go for strong women, if those strong women are, falling for these tricks in such a very short time, and they then feel devalued just like that, I have to question if they're really strong women. And if that is her, if that's your definition of a strong woman, then there's a problem, which would explain a lot. But brothers, do you see what's going on here? When it comes to these girls, one has to be very careful because there's a lot of projecting, a lot of contradictions, a lot of this and that, and they're just all over the place. It's like they have this imbalance of things just swimming up in their heads, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that it puts them at such a disadvantage sometimes when it comes to just reality and life out here. So yeah.
Very sick. And it's all psychological warfare. It's all happening in the mind. So people on the outside, they may not know. They may think, oh, he's so amazing. I know my father, everyone thought he was so amazing on the outside, but at home he was wicked. God forgive me. But it's fact. And so it's like whatever they do is so big.
So she says that her father was wicked at home. I'm speaking from experience. Fathers who bring their daughters to Europe and raise them there, I swear to you, 99% of the time, it never ends well for them because they just lose control of the girl, the child, and they just, because of this liberation and Western culture, they can never really raise their child, their daughters, the way they're supposed to raise them. And this always brings friction between the father and the daughter. And of course, when you live in the Western world, those problems, they as a father, there's so much you can say, really. So when she says, he was a wicked man, of course, I'm not going to, say that he wasn't, but I would have to really question that and look deep into it for her to really explain why she says that he was wicked, because I suspect that he was just a guy who obviously was seeing how things were going, probably wasn't happy with it, and was like, what, let me put my manly energy inside of this house. Let me bring order to the house, and she's not going to be a good recipient of that.
And huge, but whatever you do, even if it's a big accomplishment, something that you accomplish, they'll make it small, or they'll divert attention back to themselves, because it literally is just all about them. They don't care about you. They never cared about you. It was always about them. You were literally just a means to an end, and they will literally just start picking at your self-esteem, especially if you're a very sure person. That's why I'm so scared, because I'm like, I built up all this self-esteem All these years, I'll be damned if a guy comes and tries to break me down. I will not move. But I am.
Ah, she's crazy. I mean, come on. So it takes years to build self-esteem, and you're afraid that somebody's just gonna come and take it. Like, you should have confidence in yourself. If you know, the thing is, she's trying to present. I mean, of course, she's giving advice to. I'm sure her audience is majority women and girls. So I'm sure she's giving advice to them. But if you're giving advice, at least have a strong, base, have a strong foundation. And she just doesn't seem to be somebody who has a strong foundation. And if she does, I mean, she's probably selling them whatever they want to hear, which obviously would make sense because, like I said, like she herself said, you know, guys would tell them what they want to hear because women in general, they want people to tell them what they want to hear. But come on, at 28, that should not be the case.
Also, like, very aware that because of the whole love bombing stage that they put you in a trance. They basically mesmerize you. You can't think one bad thing about them. They're amazing. Everything. Like, my dad even had a Bentley. Like, my dad was doing well for himself. But a home life? And it's always behind closed doors. And they always want to put up an appearance of they're so great. But meanwhile, they're the ones putting you down, being condescending. And another thing about narcissists is that they never can admit.
With what she just said, I suspect that her father was trying to put her in a place, obviously him being the father and her being the daughter, probably. And, well, with the Western way of things, nowadays there's no hierarchy in the house, in the home. There just isn't. It's not there because for whatever reason, they feel like the destruction of the hierarchy is supposed to make everything equal for everyone. And it's nonsense because a father is a father. There's a reason why he's the father. A father is not there to be equal to the child, okay? He's there to be the father. He has more responsibilities, and therefore he's going to have a higher place. He's going to be a bit higher on the hierarchy. And sometimes when a father tries to be a father, they take it as him trying to be, demeaning and all that. And it's silly. It's ridiculous.
To their wrong. Even if you're having an argument and they're wrong, they will make you apologize. Like, you're the one in the wrong. No, it's you. To the point where they literally...
Well, it could be because maybe you are contradicting yourself. Like you will, like you normally do. Because this girl, she just goes on and she contradicts herself all the damn time. And I suspect her father just was tired of that. And I was like, you know what? Just shut the hell up. Just shut the hell up and do what I tell you to do because clearly, your hormones are pumping up and down. So who knows?
Wear you out so that you just don't even feel like arguing anymore. They'll literally manipulate you out of what you know to be true, so you find yourself second guessing yourself. I'm sure I'm right. They also blame you for everything and won't take accountability for nothing. It's you, it's you, it's you. It's always your fault. They will take no responsibility. If you didn't do that, I wouldn't have reacted this way. No responsibility. It's you.
There you go again. I mean, listen, I've seen guys do that, and there are people who are like that. That is true, but for the most part, from my perspective, it's normally the girl who would do that to you, everything. And they just use that squeaky voice to just, give you hell. Okay, let's continue this video.
And another thing about them is they lack empathy. So you could be crying, you could be so upset. They will sit there with a straight face. Like they're confused. I don't know why you're crying.
Well, sometimes a man will react like that when he realizes that the woman is trying to use the crying as a tactic to basically, manipulate the guy into either believing what you're saying, which is normally nonsense, or trying to take over the situation, or the mess that she has created for in the moment. So I've seen that happen to me even, where it's like, why are you crying? It's like, okay, I'm gonna wait for you to finish. When you're done, we can talk. And that's something that obviously happens often. So when she says that, I have to question that the way she looks at that, because if somebody lacks empathy with you, and they're supposed to be that close to you, there's always a fundamental issue there, one that at 28 you should be able to see, so but from just looking at how things go from experience, it's normally because the girl has started some bull jive, and then she tries to obviously find herself out of the situation, and then when she sees that it's not working, she just starts crying. Because when a woman cries, this is just everywhere, people feel sorry for her. It's different to a man. When a man cries, they'll look at you and say, brother, you're weak, you're stupid. For a woman, people feel sorry for them and, feel some sort of empathy. So I'm sure that is what she always, I guess, expect. But no, when you're wrong, you're wrong. Cut the bullshit. Let's talk. Be objective, and let's get to this. Let's get to a solution, and then things can continue. You don't have to sit there and cry like a baby. I mean, come on, we're grown ups.
Because you're sick. That's why I'm crying. Because you're sick, and you've emotionally manipulated the woman so much that she can't even fight back. And they'll say crazy things like, you're too sensitive. It's not that serious.
You're crazy.
I'm crazy. I'm crazy.
Yep. Yes, and yes. 98% chance you are crazy. Because if you're somebody who's that sensitive, has, a very... you feel devalued by the littlest of things. You're that, anxious and afraid of people trying to somehow beat you down. There's a very good chance you're going to be a bit more reactional to everything that somebody does. So, yeah, broad, I think you look crazy too. I mean, look at her. look at this broad. She's a nice looking lady. I know that, but don't look at her. Look through her. Look through those eyes. I mean, she looks a bit crazy, don't you think? I don't know, but hey, be careful with them.
They'll also start to pick away at your appearance. Why don't you change this? Or why don't you wear this? Or you're not wearing that. Try to control you.
Well, listen, when a guy tells you certain things, it's not because he's trying to control you. A guy will always try to establish some sort of order, okay? If you're going out and you're dressed as if you're going to the strip club, as a man, he's supposed to tell you, so listen, I don't think you should be advertising yourself like this. There's nothing wrong with a man saying you shouldn't be advertising yourself. I mean, I don't know why every single time a woman gets liberated and has the so-called freedom, the first thing they go is to stripping themselves. They try, it's always the sexy appeal that they're trying to throw out there. It's like, isn't there anything else that you can show the world, you can present to the people outside there, apart from your breasts, your curves and all that stuff? Like, come on. And I'm sure that if you're going to go out looking like a damn stripper, your man has the right to say, listen, I don't feel comfortable with that. It's not that he's trying to control you. He's just trying to obviously tell you that you look ridiculous. Come on.
I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking, this sounds like domestic violence. This sounds like a lead up to domestic violence. And this is actually where it starts. Before a man puts his hands on you, he puts his tongue on you. He puts his words on you, and he breaks you down, break. To the moment he hits you, you are already crippled down to the ground anyway.
If it has to get to the point where somebody has to put their hands on you, listen, it's your fault. Let's be honest. Like, to be honest with you, if you live in the Western world and you have to go through all of this to realize that the situation is bad, I mean, you have to be pretty dumb. Because it shouldn't take you that long to realize that the situation is not quite right, or the person is not quite right. And do you really, like, are you that desperate to be in a relationship with somebody? I mean, the girl said that, she's not somebody who's been loved often, something like that. So when she hears something, she's going to take it with this, she's going to take it with a certain high appreciation and all that, a blindly appreciation. But should it get to this point? I don't think so, if you ask me. So you're 28. You're 28 years of age. You're an old woman. At least I would hope that you are. So be more. At least use your brain. Jeez.
Mentally, like girls, keep your mind, especially young girls, young women, mature women, older women. Keep your mind. Your mind, it should be your most valued, treasured possession. Honestly, once your mind is gone, you are completely finished. Once your fight, your power, your will, your determination is gone, it's a wrap. And my job really on YouTube is to build self-esteem. It's to build that back up in you. Yes.
Whatever. She's just bluffing, blubbering, mumbling and all that. Really? This girl, she's suffering herself. She is suffering herself because if you look at the line of videos she has, I mean, look at this. I am so lonely. Raise your self-esteem. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, come on. I see through you.
I know you've been hurt. Yes, I know you've been through that. But you can actually rise again. You can rise again. And so they make little digs just to wound you, to basically like sow a seed of insecurity. They'll say stuff like, yeah, that's not really your color. Just unconstructive criticism. And like I said in my last video, there's ways that you can say something. If a guy...
I'm actually a bit surprised that she didn't say microaggression. She didn't use that word, microaggression. Every single time you say something they don't like, you're being aggressive and all that. Anyway, let's finish it here. There's a lot more, but I don't think it's really that relevant. I just want to, just pinpoint some of the things that she was going to say, because to me, it just comes across as a girl who's just projecting, and she does contradict herself here and there. And I mean, it's just, for the most part, it's just the product of being in the Western society, being a Western woman, or just finding yourself in the Western world. It just what comes with it. I mean, this world, it's very, it's extremely, fuck, hold on. What happened? Is it